To use a script or not to use a script, that is the question. And if you say yes, how do you do that well? I'm Kristen Arnold, and I'm a professional panel moderator and a leading authority on moderating panel discussions. And we're going to talk about if and when to use a script. Let's find out when and how. So it's a really good question. Do you use a script or not? There are some times when, yes, you definitely need to use a script. And there are times where it is your option, your choice. So in this video, we are going to be talking about when do you use a script, and if you do use a script, how do you use it effectively? How do you use it like a pro? So let's dive right in. So let's first talk about an agenda, a run of show, and a script. They all sound like the same thing, but they're just a little bit different. An agenda is pretty high level. It basically runs very similar to the tasks that you have, the 7 tasks of any kind of meeting. A run of show has a little bit more detail in that you kind of get a sense for what are the main talking points, when are the main timing of those talking points. And then a script can be completely written out or just a memory joggers for people. It's like an outline. You decide. In this video, we are going to be talking about really all of those because it's up to you about how much detail. An agenda is high level, a run of show is somewhere in between, and a script can be very detailed. There are a few ways that you can take a script on stage with you. The first way is that you don't. You know, if you've done your preparation, you don't need a script. It's so ingrained in you, you know what you need. Now, you might want to have your list of questions. You might want to have them on one sheet of paper, on your iPad, or index cards. That's the how. But ask yourself, do I really need to have a script to do that? You got to ask yourself, do I need a script or not? If you do say, well, I need to have something, is it on one sheet of paper? So you could have one sheet of paper, maybe front and back, but it's easy, simple versus a detailed, lots of sheets of paper. And that can get messy unless they're stapled together or somehow, but lots of sheets of paper have a higher opportunity for a screw up, quite frankly. So you can do no script, you can do a one sheet, you could do multiple sheets of paper for a detailed script, or you can have it on your iPad in somewhere in between that level of detail. It is all about your choice. So let me give you a story about a choice. So it all depends on how important it is, the audience, the context. So if you are in a situation where there's a lot of legal issues, it needs to be vetted by the legal team or the organizer needs to see it, you may need to have a formal script. It does happen where you need to follow a flow. If it's not as regulated, then a lot of this is your choice, whether you have a script or you don't have a script. Now, personally, I just like one sheet of paper and it's on my clipboard. Yes, I just have one sheet of paper and it's on my clipboard. I find that this is really easy. There's some times where I might take my questions and put them on index cards because I can shuffle index cards easily. I can move them around. But the problem with index cards is I could lose them. They could splatter. So sometimes I'll just put a punch hole in it and put a key ring on it. So at least they're together. And then if there's a question that I don't like, I can pull it out. Just literally pull it out of the deck. So you want to think through, okay, how much of a script do I need that supports me? And you might find out that after a while, you just need the questions. Just a very simple kind of format, kind of the timings. Looks more like an agenda or a run of show rather than a detailed script. If you're working with a really regulated, structured panel, you might want to actually even consider using a teleprompter rather than a script that you're carrying with you. Or maybe you've got it on your iPad and you're reading the script. Most audiences are pretty forgiving if you're reading specific elements. The caution about a script, though, is that it shouldn't constrain you when you're facilitating the conversation among the panelists. So I'm curious, how do you like to bring your scripts up with you? How detailed? So really there's a couple of questions about how detailed do you like your script to be, and how do you like to read from it? How do you like to bring it up with you on stage? So here's some tips that I use when using a script. I like to create eye drama in my script. Like if there's something that's really important, usually I will highlight it, or I'll put a circle around it, or a smiley or something. The timing hits are really important to me. So I'll make sure that those are in a larger font. I'll make them bold-faced, so I know what the timing prompts are. I like to bring a pen with me because sometimes a panelist might say something that I want to follow up on, and I need to make a note of it to myself. Or maybe I'm going to be summarizing the panel discussion and I need to write that down. So bring a pen up with you. So another tip is go big. And when I mean go big, like use a big font. You are not going to, especially at my age, I'm not going to be able to read 10-point font. I'm not even going to be able to read 12. Try 14, 16-point font so that you can easily see your script. If you are going to have multiple pages, staple it so they don't get all lost. And finally, I like to use a clipboard. Now, here's a little pro tip for you. When I work with a client, I'll have the client logo on the back side. So I'll be using it and the audience will see the client logo. And then when I'm done, I give one to the meeting organizer and I have enough made for the panelists. So either they can have it for themselves for their notes during the panel, or I give it to them as a gift after the panel. So I'd love to be able to give you some examples of scripts because people love to see that stuff. I get asked all the time. So if you go to www.powerfulpanels.com/script, you will see lots of examples. I'll see you there.